Thank you.
Welcome to Bella.
Thank you very much.
You're looking nice and fresh this Monday morning.
I hope so.
Wow. Okay. So, it's been a while since I've spoken to you. I've always seen you at events, and you always, perform at annual dinners and stuff like that. What have you been up to recently?
Performing as usual. I have had a very busy week last week. Almost every night we had shows.
Fantastic.
The same. Still teaching at UPM.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm sure a lot of our viewers want to know how you started out. I mean, of course, Monday is all about who's who, where, we talk to inspiring people such as yourself. So tell us your background, how you began, your whole entire music career.
Okay, I started when I was 4 on the piano.
4 years old?
Yes, and then I switched to the violin when I was 8. And after that, I just continued on to do my degree at in UK, and I did my master's there, and I got back here and started teaching at UPM.
Okay.
And recently, I just finished my PhD in
And that's why you're a doctor.
Psychology. Yeah.
In PhD in what?
Music psychology.
Music psychology, very interesting. Well, we'll touch more about that. But when you started at the age of 4, were you already inclined to music? Was it in the family, or was it something that Mom said, okay, you've got to learn how to play the piano?
Yeah, it's the latter. It's Mom who said, yes, you must practice and you should take out the instrument. And also, I think it's because, when she was young, she did not have the opportunity to do music. So it goes down to the children to, she wants the children to take up music.
Your siblings, are they musicians as well?
I've got one more sister and she's also doing music.
I see, I see. So you began with the piano and there was not much interest there, and that's why you switched to the violin? Is that the case?
I learned it concurrently. I learned 2 instruments concurrently. So I did a double degree in both piano and violin. Very
hardworking. And at the same time, of course, you were studying and everything as well. Cool, cool. Well, I mean, starting out as a performer is not the easiest thing to be doing, especially when Malaysia is concerned, but you've carved a niche for yourself. I mean, what were the challenges that you had to go through to achieve all this?
I think one of the major challenges is actually being able to set time to practice and to try to promote the instrument in a way that is not seen as all fuddy-duddies only who plays in orchestras and all that.
Yeah, I noticed they look very, very funky. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your instruments that you have here.
Okay, this is the usual acoustic instrument that I use for practice and to play in small halls.
But
and all that.
It's smaller than usual. Is this normal? Sorry, I'm not from not musician, so I'm quite intrigued actually.
No, this is a full-size violin.
Okay.
We have smaller sizes for children and all that, but this is the regular full-size violin.
Okay.
So this is the usual thing. This is the one which is actually made of wood as well.
Very cool, funky looking.
Yeah, and it's called an electric violin. It's got my name here carved out.
Oh,
so it's actually made of wood, and I've got
this was
customized, custom made for me. Yeah,
made for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's heavier than the usual one. It's got 5 strings. The regular one has only 4. And it's good for functions, for events.
And it looks very cool as well. I mean, I noticed that at functions, I mean, you position yourself as, not only just a musician, but you look good and you dress up and you look stylish as well. Is that a package that you wanted to portray to your audience or something like that?
Oh, you got to ask my manager about it, who's my mom.
And what does Mom have to say? What does she say? We should have her on the show, actually. Is it something?
She wants something. Well, she wants to portray someone who's classy yet, who is able to.
Not just a musician in black and sitting down in the background.
Something like that.
Ah, okay, okay. Your style. I mean, I'm not saying that you're following a lot of her, but it's very Vanessa Mae. Would you say that it's very akin?
Hers is a lot more commercial. Hers is a lot more popish kind of feel. Yeah.
Popish. And you play more classic stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it anything that you've composed on your own?
No, I've got an album, but I've got a friend to compose that for me.
Oh, cool. Is that coming up? And do we get to hear it anytime soon?
It's playing in the background now.
Ah, okay. Audience, if you can hear it. What's it called?
Pulse of the Metropolis.
Oh, okay. And was it difficult to come up with an album to do all this?
Because it was my first album, so it was a learning process for me, from A to Z kind of thing. from recording to getting producers and getting it out and printing it and all
funding as well,
yeah,
I'm sure, as what musicians go through.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, well, this segment on every Monday is more about, you know, inspiring women and what is your thing? I mean, like, what is it that drives you?
Music itself drives me. I mean, I love music. I love practicing. Practicing is like meditating, you know. For some people, you just go to some other place, you'll be transported. So for me, music is that. So I'm driven by music itself.
Okay, it's talent. Joanne, what's your take on that? Looks or talent?
For me, as a musician, talent.
Of course, because the product will speak for itself, right?
You must have substance to show.
But you know, it's in our industry, or rather in the whole world, you know, they say you have to have the whole package.
Yes.
What is your take on that?
Well, in the classical world, actually, when you talk about art music, you don't really see always, you know, good-looking people playing music, and probably that's why they don't sell CDs that well.
I see.
But in a commercial sense, of course, yes, you need to have the whole package.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to get the endorsements, to make the commercials and whatnot, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, right now you're also a lecturer. How's that like? I mean, you know, being up there, you know, very star-like, performing and everything, and then coming very down to earth and teaching others. How do you balance both of it?
Well, I think it's a very good balance, actually, because, you know, it's putting what you teach into practice. That's one. And number two is also you get to share your experiences with the students. And teaching in a university with my students, it's such a fun thing to do. It's very different, but it's very humbling as well.
Yeah.
And they always give me a lot of joy.
Are you a strict teacher?
No, not really. Not really.
Okay. Well, let's talk about, I mean, you know, you've come this far, and I'm sure it wasn't always a very easy journey. What are the biggest hardships that you had to go through as a performer, or trying to get noticed, basically, in the industry? Or are you still trying to get there?
I think for me, it's not about trying to be noticed or anything, but it's what you derive out of performing, whether you feel good about it or not. And to me, performing as it is just probably a job. I enjoy it, but it's not the only thing that I love to do.
Okay, what else do you love to do?
I love running. I love playing badminton. I love playing
sports
games.
is your passion as well. See, all-rounder. Not only know how to play musical instrument, but can do a lot of things as well. Are you a very girly girl? Do you like your shopping and traveling and eating and all that?
I don't do shopping that much. No, I'm not that kind of person, but I like outdoor activities.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to join runs and all that. And more sporty lah.
Sure. Speaking of when you perform, right, how do you prep yourself up? Do you get nervous, and how do you overcome it?
I get nervous every time, all the time, before I play.
What do you do? I mean, I always see you, and you're always so calm, you know, and, you know, a lot of them would be like quite gabra and like, oh my God, I'm going to be performing soon. But you're always so cool and collected and calm, and then you come for your rehearsals, and then after that, you do your sound check, and then you change, and you come down looking beautiful in a gown. How do you do it? What is your secret, or do you have a mantra or something like that?
No, I pray before I go up stage, every time before I go up. But apart from that, you just do your best and you hope people will enjoy it, that's all. I mean, what else can you really prepare for, as long as you've practiced?
Okay. What would you say is your strongest asset as a musician?
Having good ears. I think that's very important, a good set of ears.
Right. And what happens with Joanne, you after this? I mean, what else? I mean, you're not only a musician now, you've got a PhD. Do you intend to study some more, or?
Well, because I'm based in a university setting, so the focus there is actually on teaching and also on research.
Okay.
So part of my time is also spent on doing more research about music psychology. those areas.
What is music psychology, actually?
It's actually quite big. The branch is quite big. It consists of music therapy and consumer behavior. What I do is more on consumer behavior. For example, if I play a certain kind of music, would you shop more? Would you stay longer in a restaurant? Would you eat more? Would you spend more? Would you choose product A or product B?
Wow.
That kind of
thing. So basically the elevator music is just not the elevator music.
No,
it
has
a lot of psychology.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, how does it affect a person?
Well, I've got to explain my thesis here.
In maybe a sentence or two.
It affects people subconsciously. You won't realize it, but it does affect you when you choose product A over product B.
I see. Because I've walked into some stores and they're playing like really crazy house music and gets you all like really like kancheong, and then you want to buy more. Is that the case?
It depends what products they're trying to sell. Number one. Number two is it depends also on the target audience.
Okay.
To some people, it's just trash music and they will just simply walk out. So it affects only certain kind of group. It depends on what they're trying to sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you've met many famous people, or rather you performed with them. What is your biggest highlight of performance with these famous people?
I think one of the biggest stars, of course, is Jackie Cheung. We did over 40 concerts all around the world. And that was my first kind of international...
foray?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought it was a very good experience to learn from such a superstar, a big star like him. It was quite... Yeah, it was quite an experience.
What any insights, anything that you went through during that time that was pretty amazing? Or what did you take back from all that? Would you do a concert of your own of that scale?
The scale we're talking about is like 200,000 people in China at one time in the stadium, and you know, what I learned actually is, you know, the real superstars are not proud. They're very humble.
You have to be,
He's very
right?
humble.
Audience, I'm sure you'd like to hear that. Go, Joanne, what do you have to say about that? Musicians can make money or not in Malaysia?
Always can make money. Always. There's a lot of opportunities for musicians in Malaysia.
Okay, because I mean, you know, it's not, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, you know, what, you're just a musician, or if you bring home a musician, your parents say, what, you're gonna just marry a musician, got future or not? So, I mean, how do we break that kind of stigma?
How do we break that kind of stigma? I think it comes with education, exposure, and support from the government, to have a lot more arts festivals and to have concerts and all that.
Now, speaking of festivals and concerts, do you have any plans to do all that?
I'm planning to do a few concerts this year.
Your own solo concert?
Yeah,
oh, cool. Do we know dates? Do we know when?
Middle of the year, but no firm dates yet. I've got an offer already from Johor Festival in Johor.
Okay.
It's
There's a music
in July.
festival in Johor?
Yeah.
See, we all don't know very much about it.
In July, so I'm playing one of the dates there.
Why in Johor?
They have an arts fest and they invited me.
Okay, I just thought it maybe because, you know, it's nearer for Singaporeans and then the Malaysians can go.
It's a yearly thing that they do.
Okay.
And they also invite Australians and Singaporeans, of course, Singaporean bands.
And it's called the Johor Music Festival, is it?
Johor Arts Festival.
Arts Festival. Yeah. Okay, your album.
Yes.
It's already out.
Yes.
Where can we get it if our viewers want to get a copy of it?
You can get it from my website. You can just email it to me and I'll send it to you by post.
What's your website called?
joanneyeo.com.my.
joanneyeo.com.my. Okay, plans for the future?
Plans for the future. I hope to come up with another album this year or next year. And my big dream is actually to have a classical music radio station.
Oh, wow. Okay. Before we go, any last words to our audience out there who aspire to be a famous, a good musician such as yourself?
There are only three things: practice, practice, and practice.
Oh, spoken like a true musician. Okay, thank you, Joanne, so much for being here on Bella. It's been fantastic having you on the show. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you.
To all our viewers out there, thank you so much for watching. This is Dr. Joanne Yeo.